Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
This is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up, it's your girl, Sasha Banks, the Legit Boss, and you're watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. And available wherever podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and then that little notify bell next to it. Make sure you always get your new notifications. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We have a variety of award tiers over there. We actually got a bunch of new patrons in. I think all these people are very anxious to hear my very controversial thoughts, Larson, about the Joker movie.
I thought it was Brand X.
I don't know. It was weird. It was like sort of in between Brand X and...
There can be no in between. It's either genuine Joker products
Really?
or Brand X. No, in this world we live in today, there's no time for nuance or subtlety.
No.
Either you love it,
Yeah.
or you want to, or you just want to pee all over it.
Oh, man.
No middle ground, man.
I want to love the pee, man. I want to love to pee on things. That's what I want.
I think in the end, that's still you want to pee on.
I want to love the thing that I peed on.
In the end, though, I think that's.
Oh, man. Anyways. Got some new patrons in. Timothy Rice, Eric Bardouche, another Eric Mandujano, Omega Therion is back.
Welcome back.
50 Chents, Andrew Berg, Silent Member, and Dakota Miley. Welcome, new patrons.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you for the support. I think we got a new channel member also, Jason Dwyer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Hold on, I'll scroll down. It was popping up here.
So you can get access
Jason Dwyer.
to
welcome.
all the bonus content. If you're a channel member, which you can do by you click the join button, or a $5 patron, patreon.com/Stephen Larson. Thank you very much. So
Yes, thank you.
Raw last night, the NXT invasion continues, and in the main event we saw Seth Rollins versus
Did you do community poll?
Adam Cole Bebe. I did not. I probably should have, but I did not. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, like
yay.
most-
Here, I'll do an impromptu personal community poll. Yay, nay, in between. Don't plan to watch or plan to watch later.
Unfortunately, I have to watch it. Or fortunately, I have to watch
okay.
it.
All right.
So it's in between. Most Raws are in
Are
between.
you going to plan to watch it later?
No, I already watched it, so there's no planning to watch it later.
Good.
In between.
You thought it was in between?
I mean, like, there's always fun stuff on Raw, but, like, before we started, we were talking about the show a bit in broad strokes, and there's just not a whole lot of drama on a usual episode of Raw.
Did it feel like Triple H booked SmackDown, and because of the predicament they were in, it felt more vibrant? And then we get to Raw when everything falls back into the status quo, and Vince is like, okay, here's how we're going to do it.
Virtually.
And then it's like, it's underwhelming, Vince. I didn't think it was necessarily underwhelming. There were things that I liked about it. But again, with a 3-hour show, you've got stuff that obviously Hulu's going to leave out.
Yeah, I mean, like, the kind of the hallmark of what made SmackDown so great on Friday was that there was drama involved in it. Once you get the hint, there's an NXT invasion coming on, it was always segment by segment. Who are we going to see next? How are they going to influence the show? And then the main event was great, and there's full of drama because Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan had you hooked into the match. And while you thought Adam Cole was going to walk away from that match as champion, you weren't 100% sure he was going to win, much less clean.
Yeah.
And there's always a possibility, remote as it may be.
Yeah.
They might do something crazy and have Daniel Bryan win the title. Again, remote. But there was drama in the main event. And when Adam Cole won, you're like, holy cow, Adam Cole just beat Daniel Bryan clean in the middle of the ring, the main event of SmackDown, to retain the NXT title. Never thought that would have happened.
Yeah.
And now they're just, and while it's fun, invasion angles are fun because you have people coming in and fights and brawls, and it's fun. Just not a whole lot of drama involved.
Well, I think a good metaphor for the two episodes for Raw versus the SmackDown episode that introduced this entire thing would be in how NXT arrived at each show. On SmackDown, they just sort of they invaded, like they literally invaded. They like Shayna rushed the ring. Adam Cole sort of just popped up in the frame when Triple H summoned him.
Yeah, it killed the drama right out of the gate when Triple H comes with
It's a motorcade.
A motorcade, yes, thank you, of SUVs. And while he's the only one that exits a car, you know damn well who's in the rest of those vehicles.
You see what's going to happen. You see what's happening And then yeah, you got to say, okay, well, how's this going to go down? I actually marked out a bunch of times during the episode for various things. But yeah, I mean, there were definitely like the Rusev, Drew McIntyre, Lana, Bobby Lashley. There was something funny there with the whole he pulled his groin, smashing.
Yeah, the Bobby Lashley's kind of carrying the story because you can tell how much he thinks the whole thing's funny.
Yeah, I know.
He can't keep the smile off his face, and it's charming. He's doing a really good job with it.
I felt like on SmackDown the entire show, and yeah, I'm comparing the two because like it's an NXT invasion season.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not?
The SmackDown stuff. Those 2 hours were just a roller coaster.
Exactly.
You have bits here during Raw last night, like Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander. We knew who was going to win that match. Andrade and Zelina Vega versus Sin Cara and Carolina or Catalina, whatever her name is.
Not a whole lot of drama there.
Yeah, you kind of knew who's going to, like, they really needed it. They should have had Catalina pick up that match, pick up that win.
It's only Vic Joseph that's continuing the Catalina.
Well, who am I to debate with Vic Joseph?
I mean, everybody else is saying Carolina.
The OC and the Street Profits, fun match, but like the crowd the crowd was kind of dead last night. It cracked me up because when Adam Cole did his Bebe in the main event, they went wide like they always do. And every time, everybody raised their hands with him. Nobody raised their hands with him.
That's unfair to say nobody.
Man.
It wasn't as loud as SmackDown, but I heard booms and I heard Bebes. I'm not going to say the crowd was great because
I looked at that crowd, and there was even a guy in a Bebe shirt who didn't raise his arms. I was shocked.
Maybe he's not into the interactive part of wrestling. I
guess
he's
not.
He's a passive absorber of wrestling content.
And it's funny because when Mike Tom, when he announced Adam Cole the name, like you heard a ton of people in the crowd say Bebe.
Yeah.
But man, otherwise there was a lot of people just sitting there watching, I don't know, football on their phones or something. I thought it was kind of a lame crowd, and I thought that kind of killed things for me too. That was my general point.
It could be. Yeah, the crowd wasn't great. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the complaints about no one doing the Bebe live, and so I was expecting everybody in there to be sitting on their hands. When I watched, I was like, no, it wasn't like it was silent. People were doing Bebe, and boom, I heard it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a couple thousand people. It's not going to be silent, but like there were not when they went wide. Like 9 times out of 10, the entire crowd puts their arms up.
New York Football Giants had a game last night, so maybe you're onto something about people sitting on their phones watching football.
I just saw that on Twitter, so I'm figuring that's the thing, and I did see a lot of people with their heads down. But anyway, shout out to the Buffalo crowd because they were terrific last night. Great. Long Island, not so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was decent. I don't know. I'd probably give it a yay because I thought there was some there. Anytime you can make me mark out the way I did last night for a couple things. Anytime, look, man, you got Adam Cole, Seth Rollins, and AJ Styles in the ring together for a segment. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
And then Dijak comes out. Freaking Dijakovic comes out. That was awesome. That was great. And then we end the episode, of course, with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Doing a tope.
That was neat.
That was rad. That was cool stuff. So I don't know. I'd give it a yay.
Right
but
now, I feel
not like as much of a yay as a SmackDown.
The strongest stuff going on Raw, I feel like, is Rey Mysterio. He's doing the best promo work of his entire career.
Yeah, he's doing great.
They're making it believable that Rey could take it to Brock. He takes advantage of his speed. He picks his spots. Yeah. He's an opportunist as far as when to attack and when not to.
Yeah.
He's being smart about it.
They make it believable that he can sneak attack him backstage. When it comes to a match, I wonder if it's going to be a good match. I think Brock likes Rey.
Yeah.
That's what it always comes down to.
Well, yeah, I think it's whether Brock respects his opponent. And then Brock just seems to prefer wrestling
good wrestlers,
good smaller wrestlers.
Yeah.
I mean, because the best matches he's probably had over the last few years against Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, he'll probably have a good match against Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
I think he said that he likes wrestling guys who aren't as large as he is.
Yeah,
probably because it's a different dynamic and they can bring out something. Because like if it's a strength versus strength contest for Brock, like Brock's going to win that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like he's like freakishly strong.
There's not. I mean, it's I think just by nature, like the larger wrestlers are never like the ones who are super. I mean, they're not. I don't know. When's the last time like a big man wrestler was like a good storyteller? Does it really happen that often?
Yeah, I don't know.
Usually they just have that one speed they go.
Yeah,
that's like Miller about her.
Yeah.
But and I think Brock just likes better stories.
And I think too, like
he gets bored.
Yeah, he does get bored, and I think the strength versus strength battles for him probably bore him too because even though he's in his 40s, he still moves really well for a dude his size.
Yeah.
And it's if he's in a battle against another strongman, he might not get the opportunity to show that off as well as he would against Ray or Finn or Daniel Bryan or something.
It's kind of nice to actually see him on TV on a regular basis too. Brock still has that thing.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, to start off, like we said, Triple H brings the NXT talent to the arena in SUVs. We don't get to see him at first, but he sort of somebody rolls down their window a little bit, and Triple H says something to
what he should have done,
whoever's in there,
because
motorcycles or garbage dump trucks.
I was going to suggest some sort of military vehicles. You're saying this is a war.
Yeah, like literally throwbach to the DX stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because he's made references to other things. I guess in this promo with Seth, he was referencing, although you're either with us or against us is kind of a broad statement that's been used in several capacities. But people are bringing up the Nexus had a shirt.
Sure.
You're either Nexus or against us.
Yeah, he should have gone outside and asked how many of those tickets were comped. And they're like, "No, I got this ticket for free." And he's like, "Oh, wait, that's a bad thing. I'm the CEO of this company. Oh, crap. Shh, don't say that. We're live, crap." Anyways, but it kicked things after that. In the ring, we had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman drops a promo.
Man, he was on one last night. He was going off.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. And the one line, which we're totally not going to say here. But it does, it makes me laugh when he says stuff like that. Because it's very raw, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, there was that. There was he referred to everybody in the locker room as bitches.
Yeah, he did. Wow.
And he pretty much said that Brock was going to commit a felony against Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, and it seemed, man, how do you think that poor guy is feeling today that got laid out on that table?
Oh, I know, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
That was rough.
You got wrecked.
Got murdered.
So Brock and Paul come out. Paul kind of reminds the crowd, hey, Brock, he quit SmackDown. He's here to hunt Ray. He brings up, he doesn't directly say Brock is what's Raw's getting in exchange for Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. He just brings that deal up and then says Brock has a no-cut contract, which I guess means he can't be fired. He pretty much gets to do what he wants to do. In fact, he says Brock is entitled to do whatever the hell he wants to do. So I guess if they're using the player to be named later aspect of the Bliss and Nikki Cross trade as some sort of justification for bringing Brock over, they didn't really hammer that home per se, but at least it was kind of brought up.
So, okay, I must have missed that particular. Do you remember? I'm not going to ask you verbatim, but do you remember what he said in reference to that?
He said, I'll paraphrase. If you recall, there was a trade made between Raw and SmackDown, which sent Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to SmackDown in exchange for essentially two players to be named later. And that was kind of the extent of it.
Yeah.
And he said, I will also add that Brock has a no-cut contract, which means he can't be fired.
Oh, so the fact that he brought up, I don't know why I missed that, but the fact that he brought up Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, that would seem to think.
Yeah, but
maybe he expected us to connect the dots a bit more.
I think that's the case, as opposed to hey, this open-ended trade was made. I'm closing this trade. Brock is now in exchange for.
Okay, but that's fine. That seems.
But he didn't really go that far.
Yeah.
He just kind of brought it up. So you can connect the dots and assume that's that.
Well, that's fine. Hey, you know what? Props for actually mentioning that, though. I mean, even if we're just supposed to connect the dots ourselves, he mentioned it.
At least it's something.
Because I swear to God, if I'd had bet money on it, I'd be like, oh, they'll never mention
bring that up
again.
I know. Paul says that Brock is better than everyone in the crowd. He's better than all the bitches in the back who think they're tough enough to take on Brock. And then Paul just starts asking people, anybody,
yeah,
where is Rey Mysterio? He says there's no one man enough to slap back at Brock in this arena, whether it be in the crowd.
He proffered a terrifying proposition. The idea of Brock Lesnar jumping the barricade and slapping men that are there that bought tickets.
Yeah.
I'm never going to go to another event where Brock Lesnar is, because if that's on the table, that's terrifying. He's a scary person.
Yeah.
Super scary.
And then finally, Paul says that someone in the back is going to rat out where Ray is at.
Yeah.
And that Brock is going to commit a felony tonight. Or if that doesn't happen, Brock is going to turn over the entire arena until he finds Ray. And then he proceeds to go backstage and pretty much bashes some dude's head into the table repeatedly.
Some poor bastard was standing near a table, minding his business.
I'm sure he's a local wrestler.
Yeah, but I refer to him as poor bastard.
Yeah, because his head got around that table several times.
And freaking Brock picks him up and puts him on the table, and grabs him by his throat and just starts ramming the back of his head on the table saying, "Where's Ray?" That's horrifying. And then he
scary.
like beeled him onto the floor.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
Toss the table over.
Yeah. And then he like walks back over to him, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm not really a religious guy, but I started praying, like, please leave that kid alone.
I know.
He's going to be feeling like crap tomorrow.
I know. We go commercial. We come back. Brock's still harassing people. There's just some dude standing there. He starts yelling at him.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the parking garage area, and there's a car just sitting there. He goes and rips the back door off, basically, pulls the dude out.
Hey, this
it's
was
not Ray.
not a Braun situation where the door was already off its hinge. Brock, like, legitimately took that door and started, like, it was off.
Yeah.
Like, he almost took it off.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. He pulls the dude out, and he's like, I'm not Ray. He's like, you're not Ray. And he kicks the door, and the door's just kind of barely hanging on.
The great part is right before they went to commercial 2, Brock continued his rampage, and he said, or maybe did they cut to commercial between like him going to the parking garage?
Yeah.
Okay. As he was going to the parking garage, they cut to commercial. He said, Ray! He called him Ray.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that that's something he calls Ray in
That's
private.
a term of endearment, man.
Yeah, and he accidentally slipped and said Ray.
I know. He probably likes Ray.
He probably does. Who wouldn't? Like, Ray is freaking legend status, man.
Yep. Next, a tag match. Asuka and Kairi Sane taking on Charlotte and Natalya before the match began. Actually, before Natalya even made her entrance to the ring. We got a video package about Natalya and Lacey Evans' match at Crown Jewel. It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Match happened. Going on about halfway through, Charlotte hits natural selection. And then Asuka's ringside. She puts Kairi Sane's foot on the bottom rope, so she won't get pinned.
Asuka was all over this match. The
Yeah,
ref was giving a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Because Asuka was just...
They've been watching some AEW tag matches. And decided to start,
Oh, I know.
taking pointers. And Charlotte, Asuka's in. Oh, sorry, no. So Charlotte goes ringside, drops Asuka with a forearm on the floor, kind of in retaliation, then hits her with a huge boot in the ring.
Then she like slides Asuka over and hits a moonsault on both.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. I was not too happy about how strong both Charlotte and Natalya was booked against the Kabuki Warriors.
I know.
I'm just you and I are both huge fans of Asuka and Kairi Sane. So it is, there's a little bit, but also like, come on, they're your women's tag team champions.
know.
They're supposed to be like super strong. Asuka's a legend.
I know.
And you're doing the like that's basically a jobber thing,
Kind of.
piling up people and giving them a moonsault.
Asuka breaks up that pin, then Asuka drapes Charlotte's neck on the second rope. We go to commercial. We come back. Charlotte goes for a tag on Natalya, and then Kairi like jumps over Charlotte and like clobbers her. Then she puts Charlotte in the opposite corner, goes for a sliding lariat, and Charlotte gets her boot up, and that looked nasty.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Eventually, Asuka and Natalya are in. Natty with the upper hand goes for a sharpshooter. Asuka reverses it to a cross arm breaker. And then she transitions to a triangle. Natalya powers out. I thought she was going to power bomb her, but nope. Just pulls her arm out, locks in a sharpshooter. Kairi breaks up that one with the code breaker, and then Charlotte hits Kairi with a huge boot, and that allows, and like 30 seconds later, Natalya to lock in another sharpshooter, and Asuka taps.
I'm not huge on that,
Not
man.
great at all.
I'm not big on that.
No.
No good.
Nor am I.
No good. F on that one.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, Mike? Yeah.
Agreed.
Not even a D, an F.
Yeah, huge, massive F.
If we're grading things. Oh, by the way, speaking of graded, happy 2-year anniversary.
Yes.
To our friendos over at Cultaholic.
Yes, happy anniversary.
They are absolutely killing the business right now,
Yep.
man, and it's fantastic.
They are great.
And just terrific people.
Yep.
So after that, we had Brock and Paul go to commentary.
Yeah.
And this is terrifying because Paul Heyman
Oh, man.
probably drops line of the night when he says, Brock is going to mess you up so bad, and there won't be anybody here.
He says it to Jerry.
To Jerry Lawler. There won't be anybody here to resuscitate you when you die.
Again on air.
Again on air. Which is, number one of the craziest stories ever, how Jerry Lawler literally died on camera and then was resuscitated.
Yeah, they brought him back.
That was terrifying. That was terrifying. But then freaking hero of the day, Dio Madden, stands up, all 6'8" of him,
Yep.
walks over and gets in between Lawler and Brock. I marked out so hard for that. I was like, Good job, son.
Yeah.
Good job.
That was great.
Of course, Brock sort of laughs him off and F5s him onto the table.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, I marked out so hardcore for that.
That's one of the benefits of having a wrestler on commentary.
Especially a giant like Dio Madden.
You can have something like that happen.
I thought that was just absolutely terrific, man. That was so great. So at this point, Dio, you're all good in my book, man.
Oh, he's great.
I'm never going to whine about commentary again.
So Brock is like, all right, well.
I'll bring this up, too, real quick. When they went to, because Dio was out for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
That F5 was too much. He got the day off. One thing that Lawler kind of broached a little bit when they went to a two-man commentary thing, and I forget which match it was, but Vic Joseph asked Lawler something like, or he mentioned something like somebody having to change up their game to compete against their opponent. I have no idea what match it was. And Lawler said something like, yeah, I just stuck with or I think Vic asked him, did you ever have to change up your game?
Yeah.
And Lawler said, no, I just stuck with what worked back in the day, and it seemed to work pretty well for me. I really wish, Lawler could be a treasure trove of anecdotes pertaining to matches that are happening.
Yeah.
If they want to book him that way, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Because this dude is a legend in wrestling, and especially in Memphis, obviously.
He's like the most decorated champion of all time.
I would love for him to reference stuff from his history when putting match items into context. I think that'd be great.
That'd be great, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know if something Vince doesn't want him to do, because most of that didn't happen in WWE.
You're probably, maybe you're right. I don't know. I have no idea. It's something that I'd love to see.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Anyway, so
I think JBL used to do that. Somebody used to do that. It wasn't JBL. I forget who it was. Maybe it was JBL, where they would talk. I mean, that's what you want when you have somebody who's been around.
Who's got a long career that's done a lot and achieved a lot. So after Brock drops Dio with the F5, he's kind of like looking out on stage, wondering where's Ray at, and then Ray runs out from the door or the curtain and attacks Brock with a pipe. They try to say it's a lead pipe, but it was just plastic. Goes after Brock's knees to start wailing away on him, drops the pipe, picks up WWE title, hits Brock with that. Mm-hmm. It was great. Crowd's going crazy. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves Ray. Go to commercial, we come back, Ray's backstage, drops promo. He's doing the best promo work of his entire career these last couple months.
It's really good.
Man, he's great.
It's either this or when they had the custody up on the pole.
I kind of feel like this is a stronger promo work. But maybe
were you watching back then?
Not a lot, no.
Yeah. That was good stuff back then, because I watched, I forget what I was writing, but I was writing something, and I had to do some research for it. And I was looking at that stuff, and that stuff was pretty strong back then.
Yeah. In short, you can kind of paraphrase, and he says he's coming after Brock's title. Well, he says, Brock, you try to take everything away from me.
Mi familia.
Yeah. So I'm going to come after your title. And he asked Brock if he's man enough to come after him at Survivor Series. And later on, it was confirmed Ray versus Brock at Survivor Series. So also announced during the show, we got a couple champion versus champion matches. Becky versus Bayley versus Shayna Baszler. And then all the tag champs are facing off in a triple threat match.
Yeah, nothing yet on how the mid-card title scene is going to shake out. But this Brock versus Ray thing is pretty interesting, because obviously, as you stated, it means that we're not going to get a champion versus champion. It's not going to be Brock Fiend Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. So
I would not be surprised if we get Seth Adam Cole again at Survivor Series.
That seems like it's going to be the case.
But I don't know as far as the Fiend, what that would leave for him. I would suspect a match against someone on SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll probably find out on Friday. The room, I think, God, it was either Cultaholic or Wrestle Talk had the article. I'm not sure where they got the source from. Maybe it was Meltzer. I don't know.
Oh, Ciampa, Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
I didn't read it either, but I wonder if it's just because Ciampa tweeted at Roman Reigns. Something
that could be, but that's a match I'd love to see.
Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, why not? Mm-hmm. Because they're obviously going to do, given what we saw at the end of this, and it's sad, but you got too much talent. They're going to do a battle royal to kick things off, probably.
No, they'll probably just do some elimination Survivor Series matches.
5 on 5. Yeah, that too. Yeah,
they're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah,
it'll probably be Dijakovic, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle. Was Pete Dunne out there last night?
No, he wasn't.
I thought at the end he was.
I thought I saw the back
that was
of
Matt
his
Riddle.
head.
That was Matt Riddle. Sorry, it was Matt Riddle.
So what, you think they're going to do an NXT versus Raw and then an NXT versus SmackDown?
Or maybe NXT. I don't know how they're going to do it. But there's going to be some sort of 5 on 5 elimination match.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they'll have to. Yeah, maybe they'll have two. Maybe they'll be. I don't know. Because we have yet to really see if Raw and SmackDown are going to square off in any capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because so far it just seems like NXT versus Raw and SmackDown. So if that's the case, they might just do 5 NXT talents and then
like 3 and 2, yeah.
Yeah. One for the men, one for the
Oh,
women.
yeah, Pete Dunne was there. Everybody's saying Pete Dunne was
Okay,
there.
he was there. I thought I
Yeah.
saw him. So who knows? We'll see. But anyways, if it's 5-on-5, it'll probably be Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Dijakovic, Pete Dunne,
Damian Priest.
and Damian Priest.
Yeah.
And that way you're getting some stories from NXT involved in all that too. Especially with
Yeah.
Damian Priest
I
and
don't
Pete
know,
Dunne.
but then what, you're relegating Raw and SmackDown to 5 guys?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot. That's a lot of people
Well, you'd
being
have
kept off.
who was in that like Ricochet was out there. He'd be in there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Ricochet, like Rowan was out there.
Ideally, what you'd try to do is get 5 former NXT talents taking on 5 current NXT talents from a storyline perspective. And you
So, like, Ricochet, I mean, at that point, you're like, what, the Ricochet?
should get Aleister Black involved.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, they're like, that's too soon, though. Like, he still kind of feels like he hasn't done anything on main roster.
I
He kinda
know.
still feels like an NXT.
I know, and that's why from a storyline perspective, then they have someone swerve team WWE to
Because here's
help
the thing,
out
like,
Team NXT.
Aleister Black has barely been around, and then you still have the wealth of your Raw and SmackDown talents
Yeah.
that have been there for a while.
I'm just saying, from a storyline perspective, it could be a little more fun. Maybe all these former NXT talents out there, and the thoughts or the prospect out there of someone turning on Team Main roster to join Team NXT.
And this is a whole other issue. Tim Spulak brings this up. So what the hell does this mean for War Games?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's a pretty big deal.
I know.
You know? So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if Vince decided to do this after Triple H is already like, well, yeah, we got War Games. You know,
Vince
let's
is
set
kinda
up
like,
War
meh.
Games. Like how are things gonna change? Like I feel like this Wednesday is gonna be completely like invasion stuff.
Yeah, I think so. It'd be interesting if they kept the women's War Game match as is and had that main event. And then if they want to keep the invasion stuff up, maybe instead of doing, or is this a way to get more people involved? Potentially, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Have a NXT versus WWE War Games match. And that way you get like stalwart WWE guys involved in that. In the double
no. Look,
cage.
if they had a main roster invasion of War Games somehow, I'd be all about that. But like they've set it up so that it's squarely in the NXT universe.
Yeah,
like
I know.
So
I know.
I don't know. This week is going to be interesting regardless.
Yeah, you can say that again.
So after that, we had Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander. These guys, they've gone through it a million times before,
Yeah.
so you know it's going to be a fun match, and in fact, it was.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, they don't have plans for Cedric Alexander, and
Which
they
is
want to keep
unfortunate.
Buddy Murphy looking strong. So he ended up getting the win here.
Cassandra brings up a point. It can't be all invasion with the European tour. That's true.
When is that happening? Next week?
Yeah, Friday's going to be in London or Manchester or something.
Oh, that's right. It's going to be a tape delay, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I have a hard time believing they're going to send a bunch of NXT talents over there for a couple shows when they probably have their own house shows going on in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they'll use that opportunity. Here's the
So
thought.
this Friday is going to be in Europe?
Yeah,
Wow.
and then Raw on Monday is going to be in the United Kingdom too, I believe. Here's a thought. How about this? Maybe they'll take that opportunity to develop some beef between Raw and SmackDown. So it's just not main roster versus NXT. It's Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT.
Yeah. Or they could just keep doing it on Twitter. Bailey,
I mean, I'm sure they will.
Bailey was on. Well, it was a joke. Bailey was on Twitter, like saying, "Hey, I'm still in this match too, guys." And then Becky said, "Why don't you go complain to your manager, Karen?"
Karen, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
Anyway,
DMQ reminds us at 205 live from Full Sail this Friday.
I know there's like a lot of news dropping, man. And then that Saudi deal got expanded, which there's still no clarification on. They already did 2 shows a year.
Apparently, Meltzer was talking about that. I forgot the name. I apologize. This one had extended recap of what he said. It was. They said that just to allay the fears of stockholders about issues with that because they do 2 shows a year as is.
Yeah, I read it. So like after when I saw like I think Sean, I forgot who it was, but they got some clarification from WWE, and they said this is just basically a solidification of what we've already talked about, and seemingly what they've already done.
Yeah.
So maybe like they were sort of floating out there doing 2 shows a year, and now that's been made like a real thing or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Anyways, I had a thought if NXT goes on the road for Wednesdays, bring 205 Live, have that weekly at Full Sail. So the Full Sail crowd still gets weekly wrestling.
I know. Friday nights.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Buddy Murphy ended up winning. It was a fun match, but he won with Murphy's Law. After that, we had an NXT invading SmackDown recap, and then Seth Rollins was wandering around backstage. And then he comes out to drop a promo, and he was like, I heard the cheers when I lost the Universal title. I don't really give a damn what they think.
The fans, that is.
Yeah.
He didn't care what the fans think. So what concerns him is that everything he's worked over the last year for, giving people opportunity, beating Brock, getting the Universal title. It's all a wash now. Feel like starting over again.
Yeah, I could see the frustration there. He was like, I was trying to bring a new culture here.
Yeah.
And then this guy comes and brings a different top title
And because
over
he's
here.
a hot thing, all you fans who are cheering for me now cheering for him.
Yeah.
Never mind, the creative's kind of maybe boring and at times kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
He says my catchphrase is rebuild, something, reclaim. I forgot what the third R is.
Rebuild. God, what is it?
Rebuild, restore.
Restore? No,
I don't remember what it is.
Lame.
Anyway, said I don't know if I have the energy to do what my catchphrase says I need to do. So he says, so what's next for me? I don't know. Enter Triple H. He's got NXT on his Titantron now. He's got NXT on his lower third. He's all NXT.
All about it, man.
Says NXT founder.
Yeah.
In his lower third. He says whenever Seth doesn't know what he wants to do, their paths seem to cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suggests that maybe his past is his future, which we heard Finn Balor say.
Wise man once said recently,
Yeah.
you know, my past, my future. And Seth, remember the Shield, and before then NXT, and then like, you know, you turned heel and I was there for you, that the Authority.
Yeah. So, yeah, he goes through kind of step by step his career since signing with WWE, and he says, I know what's next. Triple H says NXT made a statement, and the whole world wants to know what NXT is going to do next. Triple H wants to know what Seth is going to do next because that affects what he will do next. And he said he knows how to make Seth great. Says that Seth is either with him in this moment, Undisputed Era come out and they're on the apron, or against him. OC come out, Undisputed Era, they hop off the apron, kind of go into the crowd for a little bit. OC chase after him, start to attack. Out comes Dominic Dijakovic and Damian Priest.
Man, that was so. There was also a brief moment during the main event brawl when Dijakovic and Keith Lee were working together.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I want to see.
Yep. So they have the upper hand until the Raw roster empties out, or at least the loser locker room, and kind of chases off NXT. They flee.
Yeah.
Not the last we'd see of these NXT.
Seemingly
talents.
Rowan has joined the loser locker room.
Yeah. You see Triple H backstage. Seth chases him down, and he's like, Hunter. He says, if I'm going to NXT, I'm only going to go there as top guy. So he won a title match against Adam Cole, and Triple H was like, all right, see, I knew how to re-inspire you.
Well, he also said, you know, Daniel Bryan got his title shot. I'm better than Daniel Bryan. I'm no Daniel Bryan.
That's up for debate, I guess. So Triple
It's
H.
good having confidence.
Oh, totally. You should totally have confidence.
That's good.
Triple H said, all right, you can have that match.
Good. You got it. Main event tonight. Yes. Adam Cole, Seth Rollins. Dream match situation. After that, we had Andrade and Zelina Vega. She cuts a promo first and says that, you know, the guy without a face is crap. Andrade's great, basically.
Yeah. Paraphrasing, yeah.
So they'd have a mixed tag match against Sin Cara and Carolina.
Or to Vic Joseph, Catalina.
Let's just settle on one. What's it going to be?
It's Carolina.
Okay, let's settle on that then. So, yeah.
Early on, Sin Cara dumps Andrade from the ring, runs towards the ropes. He gets distracted by Zelina Vega. I think she pulls at his foot or something. And then Carolina lays out Vega with a senton off the apron. Oh, sorry, that was on Andrade. Senton was to Andrade. During commercial, Zelina hits this crazy move where she goes for a moonsault on Sin Cara. He catches her and then rotates her around so she hits a tornado DDT on him. Why didn't that make the broadcast? At least they showed that in replay because that was amazing.
I don't know. Timing.
Amazing. Anyways, the Sin Cara and Andrade are brawling up at the top rope. Andrade's like about to fall backwards. He grabs Sin Cara's mask and is kind of pulling it off. Sin Cara's like, no, don't do that. So they brawl some more. Eventually, though, Sin Cara hits a sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope. Carolina and Vega are in. Carolina gets the advantage, puts Vega up in a fireman's carry, and then she goes for Carolina's mask. Eventually, Carolina hits a face buster on Zelina. Andrade breaks up the pin. Carolina hits a gory bomb. Sin Cara takes out Andrade with a tope, but Vega gets the upper hand and then hits a basement Rana on Carolina for the win.
She was celebrating like she had just won the main event of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was like, did they call this on the fly? Like she was going to get the pin on the fly or something?
I don't know.
But in any event, it was cool to see.
It was great.
After that, we had a recap of Rusev, Lashley, and Lana. Of course, they can't do a live sex show every week, so this week we got an actual match. But before that, we had a Rusev promo. He said he wants tonight to be the night that they end all this stupid drama. He's here for Bob Lashley. Tells him Lana is all his, but his ass belongs to Rusev. Lana and Lashley come to the stage. Bob is on crutches. Said he's not medically cleared, but it's not because he said he got a pulled groin. He
Tore his groin.
Tore his groin. He said it wasn't because, I thought he said pulled, because of in-ring action or what happened.
Or training.
At Crown Jewel or training. He said it was a lot of sex.
He says, this is the exact quote, doing things and performing in ways you can only fantasize about. And the smile on his face, on Bob Lashley's face,
it was like a mile
was
long.
everything.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was everything. The way he sold that line was so good.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And then Lana grabs the mic and says she's, Bob can't fight here, but I found someone to fight you, and he's going to kick your ass. Enter Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Why they keep making Drew just like a pawn in other people's games?
He is, man.
Gosh darn
They
it.
have nothing for him.
Dude's 6'5".
What is with that? That's weird.
He's like a mountain of a man, all charisma, a great wrestler.
Maybe they're just coming to him and say, hey, listen, we've got a great main event spot idea for you. Do you want it?
Well, that would
Seems like a
that
lot
would
of
infer
work.
they actually had real plans in
No, I'm
store
saying
for
like
anybody.
I'm speculating because that's the only thing it's got to be. Maybe.
What do we
it's
know
like,
about Drew McIntyre that we've read about him? That if he was proposed a huge spot, he would decline it. Nothing.
Well, I don't know the guy personally.
I don't either. Just everything I read about him.
There you go then. Yeah, well, don't believe everything you read. I think he's back there. They're like, hey, listen, you versus Brock, you win.
Nah.
Not into it really. See, I really like the Lana Rusev stuff. That's fun. Can I get in on that? I guess.
All I can say is when at the end of the match, when Orton comes in and drops Rusev with an RKO, and Lashley comes down and beats up Rusev. So Drew loses by DQ again.
Yeah.
He's walking by as Lashley's beating up Rusev, and when he does this, seemed kind of legit. I was like, really? All right, I'm done with this.
Oh man.
Anyways, that was the finish. They're fighting. Drew and Rusev fighting ringside. Lashley comes in and clubs Rusev with the crutch. And then, Drew just says, to hell with this. Lashley puts Rusev back in the ring. Rusev gets the upper hand, tosses Lashley in the ring post, grabs the crutch, and then Randy Orton comes in and drops Rusev with an RKO.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess now Orton and Lashley are friends because they were on Team Flair.
That's what they referenced. That's what they said because he looked at Lashley. He was like, are you good? You're good? You know what I love? I love that story that came out about, I'm not sure if it's true. Who knows if it's true, the dirt sheet stuff. But Orton petitioning McMahon to further his faction with the Revival.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Orton leading a faction. Who would want to see
good.
that?
They were so good in the short time they were together.
Add a couple more people to it?
I know.
What is with that? They have like 1 million people.
I don't know why they don't do this. It's common sense stuff, and I don't know why they don't take advantage of it.
Factions, cool logos, cool T-shirt, and it writes itself. It's so simple.
It really is.
It's so simple.
Anyways, Ricochet comes out, makes a save. He avoids an RKO, and then hits Lashley with a baseball slide kick. But then Lashley fell backwards and hits Lana too. They both go tumbling to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So now is Ricochet can get involved in all this?
Remember when Ricochet and Drew kind of had like a thing going?
Yeah, I know.
Like, who got the better of that one? Like, you know, like these things are supposed to they're meant to like elevate people.
No, it's spinning wheels, man. It's just spinning wheels.
Oh man!
Like for a vast majority of the roster, you're lucky if you get spinning wheels.
Yeah, right.
Because as we see in the case of Cedric, it seemed like, okay, this is kind of a spinning wheels thing, where Cedric had this match after match with AJ, even with no real kayfabe justification for U.S. title shots. And then the spinning of the wheel stopped, and it wasn't like he was moved on to better things. He just kind of disappeared. So I kind of feel like a lot of these storylines, the best you can hope for really as the talent is spinning wheels.
I haven't read a lot of the Boom Studio comics, although we have the Draft House Games sent us all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to like write one where it's all about spinning wheels.
There you go.
Like kayfabe spinning wheels.
Exactly. Because really, this seems like
kayfabe Drew backstage, and they're like, "Hey, so do you want a main event spot?" Nah, I'm good, man. I'd rather be a henchman. You know how you really, because what's been his main thing since he came to Maine? It was proving that complacency has no place in.
But that's just kayfabe. Backstage, he's totally complacent.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I'm happy to be a henchman. You know, let me ask you a question here. Did my check clear? Okay, good. Henchman it is.
Henchman it is.
Oh, I only have to wrestle half a match? Cool.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch had an interview after this. I really like this.
This was good. Charlie announces that Becky versus Bayley versus Shayna is happening at Survivor Series. And Becky talks about beating Sasha, Bayley's best friend, and Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler's best friend. And that's when Shayna excuses Charlie and steps in. Continues the interview herself.
I loved this. I thought this was terrific.
Really good.
Yeah.
She introduces herself.
Yeah.
Says, "Hi, I'm Shayna Baszler. Been waiting to be face-to-face with you for a long time. I want to remind you, I am not Ronda Rousey.
I am no Ronda Rousey." Yeah.
And then Shayna says, "I'm going to pin or tap you out at Survivor Series. And the only thing Becky has to think about is which one of her limbs belongs to Shayna."
That was a good line.
Wow.
That was good stuff. So then Becky retorts.
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, I don't really know a whole lot about you." She doesn't evidently have time to watch NXT.
Probably not.
And
so I don't know whether to respect you or slap your head off.
Yeah. And she says, "Going to war with Becky will change her."
He said, "Ask your friend Ronda about that."
And then they both stand up, and there is this cool, like it was kind of cheesy because
It
like
was kind of cheesy. They're backlit with a nice like rim light around
so
their
the
heads.
image itself was rad, but it didn't fit within the context of this is an interview that supposedly is live.
Yeah.
And so being able to cut between the two shots makes sense. Being able to anticipate them standing up and facing off, and there happens to be a camera which would have zero motivation to be there.
And also the light from above doesn't really have a whole ton of motivation.
Even like, but that's, I mean, look, you put up some lights, but why would a camera all switch to that angle when they're standing up?
Because here's the thing: earlier on when Shayna stepped in, it's not like they had a camera ready for her to get close up. When she stepped in, you just saw the NXT title in like her upper body.
Yeah.
Which is motivated and justified because there was a steady cam for the interview.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it makes all the sense. But they
and
tossed it off
in
the window.
terms of like the drama of the moment, it was cool because you don't immediately see her face. You just see the ominous NXT title, women's title there.
I know.
But yeah, to go to that shot, while I thought the shot itself, and I even use it for the thumbnail here, was a terrific shot. It was a little off-putting because it was like, whoa.
It wasn't motivated at all.
Like, it's funny, all these like things that are sort of, as viewers of television and movies, you subconsciously get used to these conventions and what makes sense. And this is a live interview.
Yeah.
And so it's weird.
It's jarring when
they
deviate from convention just because like they think dramatically it's more fitting without it really being motivated. Like at least have the camera panned up or something. I don't know. Next.
Yeah, somebody rushes into position.
Yeah, I know.
Because honestly, that makes it a bit more urgent. If the camera, if there was like a handheld guy, like further back, and then they stand up and he's there and he's sort of more doc style, documentary style.
Or assuming the one camera they had was on sticks. Just zoom out and tilt up or something like that. Yeah,
I like your camera work there. That's good. And then under crank it.
No, this is like the fluid head with a little dial to pan.
Which one is when you go fast motion under cranking, right? Yeah, you under crank it. And they
Fewer
they
frames
start
per
chasing
second.
each other
Yes.
Benny Hill style. Yakety Sax plays, and then we go to the OC versus the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, AJ kicks off the promo, says he's in a bad mood. He doesn't care about NXT. He wants to beat him up.
I'm main roster, okay? I never went to NXT. I'm main roster.
Yeah.
All right, I talked to the pilot.
I did all the NXT stuff in Ring of Honor.
I did that in TNA, Ring of Honor.
New Japan Pro
New
Wrestling.
Japan Pro Wrestling.
Then the Street Profits come out. They have a promo. And then Dawkins kept mentioning that the Profits beat the OC a couple weeks back. And Montez Ford's like, you can't say that. This is kind of confusing to me.
I didn't entirely understand that. Is that like a Hogan saying that you're not supposed to mention that him and Warrior fought before?
I don't know.
That was
and then Montez says, we can't say it, but Humberto can. And so he does. He says it again. And then I think Montez says, why don't you say it in Spanish?
Espanol, please.
And then Carrillo does.
Yeah. And then AJ says, what did he just say? Which is pretty comical because, like, it's probably kind of obvious what he just said.
Yeah, because they told him to say it in Spanish.
There's only like 2 different words.
Yeah. But I just didn't get the joke.
I didn't either.
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it. And it wasn't very effective.
No. Anyways, it was a fun match. The finish saw AJ Carrillo in. Carrillo gets the upper hand at first, hits a moonsault. OC break it up, and then, like, everybody's in the ring then, brawling, hitting moves. Eventually, OC are sent out of the ring. Montez hits a tope on him. So it's just down to AJ and Humberto. AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm. Carrillo evades, but eventually AJ hits a powerbomb, gets his feet on the ropes, and pins Carrillo for the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doesn't exactly like, I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, we were just talking about the spinning wheels thing, right?
Yeah.
So the Street Profits and the OC are in a thing, and Humberto's kind of getting dragged into it.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate the Street Profits or Humberto coming away with anything decisive to continue their thing because they kind of want to keep the OC strong. You should be using the OC to put over the Street Profits because they're the future, as is Humberto. Yeah. And so you got this thing, and I know, I mean, you want to call it 50-50 booking, whatever. Somebody needs to get ahead here. Somebody needs to be.
I know, it's far too often that
to get some rub here.
Happen.
And that, yeah, like the Ricochet Drew thing. Like, yeah, you want to keep Drew strong, but Ricochet's a big up-and-coming star. Just give freaking Ricochet the win, like a decisive victory over Drew.
Well, that happened at King of the Ring, the tournament. Ricochet got the win over Drew.
Yeah.
And then Drew was out injured for a while. Came back and he beat Ricochet. And then the week after that, they were having a rematch, and that's when Orton came in the belt the crown jewel and RKO'd Ricochet, dropped him right in his head.
Yeah. So it's like nothing happens.
And then like Ricochet's is kind of involved now when Orton comes out to RKO Rusev. Like they're carrying on like these Team Hogan and Team Flair participants are like a faction. Yeah. Like they'd actually
and if they want to make them a faction,
then do it in official capacity.
Do it.
Totally. But they're just kind of fraternizing in an unofficial capacity.
They should be excited when Orton wants to do something. You know?
Because when he wants to do something, he's motivated. He's into it.
Orton is interested in working with young talent. My God, you should embrace that.
I know.
He's a big name.
He is. Next, we had an Adam Cole video package. And then there's a quick shot of Adam Cole and Triple H just talking backstage after said video package. And then it was confirmed Ray versus Brock at Survivor Series. And then we get War Raiders versus East Hampton Polo Boys. This is about as long and as dramatic as you would expect.
I gotta get one of our friendos in on researching, or maybe I can just do it. What wrestler holds the record for the most number of squash matches against jobbers? It has to be the War Raiders at this point. I don't
know, man. In the early mid '90s, there were so many squash matches. So many. Like on Raw, there was tons of squash matches.
Yeah, but was there one act that
had
a continuous?
That I don't
this
know.
has been.
What about Goldberg? He beat like 175.
Okay,
jobbers.
yeah. Okay.
Not all those were on TV though, but he beat a lot of jobbers on TV.
Okay, so on TV, I wonder how many of those jobbers weren't signed by WCW. WCW had a large losers locker room, but they were signed to the company.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys that they literally bring in locally. And I'm not saying they didn't do that goal, but he might very well hold the record. That's a very good example. He might hold the record. But, oh, my God, the War Raiders every week, and they're the tag champions.
Cassandra says, the more you recap the show, guys, and talk about it, the more it sucks. Lol.
I try to stay positive. What are you going to do? What's that face you make this? Oh, man. Hey, you know what? Just watch our SmackDown episode. We were both very excited.
Yeah, it was fun. Timothy Wayne says Ryback went like a year beating jobbers.
Yes, that's a great example.
That's a good one, too.
And that's why he got the Goldberg chance, because Goldberg did the same thing.
Yep.
Ryback. You're right. Okay, now here's the next question then. As champion of something,
Yeah.
who had the most?
Yeah,
because
that's
once
really
you're
the question.
champion, aren't you supposed to be taking on roster people?
You should be elevated beyond local enhancement talent.
Because that's what killed Goldberg. Once he got the big gold belt, they had no idea what to do with it.
Yep. Anyway, this is you expect not much of a match. Hanson picked up the win with a top rope splash after War Raiders has completely decimated the East Hampton Polo Boys. It was announced prior to this that the War Raiders would be taking on Undisputed Era and the Revival of Survivor Series. That's going to be great. Let those guys
might be
put
one
on
of them takeover level matches.
Let them put on a takeover level match because
Oh
they can.
man, that could be killer. Probably like 7 minutes.
I know. After their win, War Raiders had a promo. They kind of said, good job, OC, for winning Crown Jewel. However, we have belts, so who's really best tag team? Essentially.
Well, it's the OC. They're the best in the world. That's what that match was for.
There's a trophy.
Yeah.
There was a trophy. They have a trophy for being best in the world.
That trophy is bigger than a tag title,
Yeah.
like physically speaking.
Yeah. And therefore, more important. And finally, main event, Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole was joined ringside by Triple H. What did you think about Lawler going on and on during the entirety of this match, wondering who Triple H wanted to win? I kind of felt like Triple H walked out with Adam Cole. He probably wanted Adam Cole to win. The whole point of Triple H going out there and confronting Seth was like, I'm here to inspire you, and maybe in the process of inspiring you, I can bring you over to my team and help my team win. It wasn't so much I want Seth Rollins as champion.
Well, okay. I hate to do this, but playing devil's advocate, Lawler kind of has a good point.
Oh,
because
given Triple H's history, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sort of isn't it kind of a win-win for Triple H?
Totally, it would be. But
Yeah.
that was like his through line for the entire thing was just that.
Yeah.
He never really deviated from that in terms of telling the story of the match.
You talking about Lawler?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Because he's not given good direction. I'm not going to criticize the man anymore. I just don't think he's given good direction. I think if he had good direction on commentary, he could actually do a pretty good job. They don't take
Entirely
advantage
possible.
of what he's good at. They don't take advantage of what they have on their hands, and they just sort of throw him out there and just leave him up to his own devices, which I think is a bad move.
Yeah. Robert Vasquez says he was repeating that over and over. He was just saying the same thing. Who do you
Yeah.
think Triple H wants to win this match?
Yeah.
I really think Triple H wants Seth to win this match.
And yeah, he was badgering, and he was on top of that. You're right. He was badgering Vic Joseph about it too. He was like, "What are you talking about?
Like,
Why would you think that?"
That's just something you mention, you throw out there, and if you see things happen during the course of the match, you can reference them.
Yeah, right.
You don't repeatedly say the same line over and over and over and over again and hope that makes it a real story point.
I know. He probably shouldn't be out there if that's the direction they're going to give him.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Seth's in control early because that's usually how Seth Rollins matches go. Goes for a buckle bomb on Cole. He escapes. Adam Cole still leads a super kick, but he evades the stomp. And then they're ringside, and Seth just tossing Adam Cole around a lot. Back to commercial. Cole takes command briefly after a pump kick. They're trading some blows. Seth hits the super kick, gets two. Seth goes from some sort of springboard move, probably the knee. Cole hits him with a super kick. That gets him a 2 count. He goes for a Panama Sunrise. Seth counters that with a buckle bomb. That earns Seth a 2 count. Seth hits 2 suicide dives on Adam Cole, hits the springboard knee, goes for a Falcon Arrow. Cole counters with last shot 1.0. Then
He muscled him up there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cole hits a Shining Wizard. Not a last shot because it wasn't from behind.
Correct. Yeah.
Gets him a 2 count. Then he goes for the last shot. Seth ducks, escapes, rolls him up, gets a 2, and they do the double clothesline of one another.
That's probably on my top 5 least moves that I want to see.
If you're going to do that, do a double fun splash. Because that impact looks like it could legit hurt.
Or
You're
do
knocking the wind out of each
do
other.
the thing that freaking Cameron Grimes does, where you like start spinning around. It's like a weird mid-air kind of Spanish fly.
Oh, the
double
power slam. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like you say power slam, but man, it doesn't really. It's like a mid-air fun splash power slam.
Yeah, that's exactly
weird.
what it is. But he spins backwards.
It's crazy.
It's like a shooting star or a moonsault power slam.
It seems like it shouldn't work. It's like a
does
2K20 thing.
It's like what Bandito does off the top rope, but
Yeah.
he doesn't. Cameron Grimes doesn't do it off the top rope.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cole, the clotheslines, they come to Seth hits superplex, Falcon Arrow, gets 2.
2.
Seth gets ready for a stomp. Undisputed Era hit the ring. They go after Seth.
Well, yeah, Seth started like mocking Triple H a little bit too. He was taking a sweet time with that. He looks at Triple H, he's like, meh, 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 meh. And then he starts, burn it down. Undisputed Era come in, they attack him. Raw roster comes down. More NXT talents come through the crowd, including Tommaso Ciampa. Everybody's brawling, brawl in the ring, outside the ring. This was wildly entertaining, this brawl. Yeah. This was a lot of fun.
You got Ricochet taking out Keith Lee for a bit. Ciampa comes in, makes the save. Eventually, Ricochet gets back in the ring, hits a springboard shooting star press on a bunch of people.
And then right as they were leaving, right as the little trademark thing happened or copyright thing happened, Keith Lee does a tope.
On everybody and lays everybody out.
And then they're out. I thought that finish was really, really fun. I thought that part was great. Went out strong. It's funny, too, because Keith Lee knew what his last little bit was going to be. And so the brawl leaves the ring a good 2 minutes or so prior to the finish of the show. And Keith Lee just stands in the ring.
Well, he stayed in the ring for a while, and then Ricochet eventually gets in there.
Yeah, but there was a good chunk of time when Keith Lee is just sort of like,
yeah, no, he was the only one in the ring just kind of standing around. I noticed that, too.
Oh, this is kind of crazy. I should probably be down there helping my guys, but I'm going to give it some time, maybe do a tope in a bit.
Yeah. Well, I know my mark. I know when I'm supposed to do it. If I leave the ring, I might miss that, so I got to mill it out a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. Somebody's going to make me miss my cue. Anyways, let's answer some questions. Yeah. Why don't we? I'm going to go to the Discord, which you can get access to for $1 on that Patreon. Greg Morris says, was anyone else expecting Kevin Owens to side with NXT?
That'd be cool. He was walking his dogs last night. He posted a video on Twitter of him walking his dogs.
Is that kayfabe or shoot?
There might have been some voiceover, but I didn't listen to the audio.
Okay.
Quiet Wyatt Designs. Why couldn't we get Priest picking a fight with Aleister Black? That'd be great. Where's Aleister
like
Black?
The Spider-Man meme thing.
I know.
I'm kind of the new you now.
I know.
Butts says, who from Raw and SmackDown do you want to see retaliate against NXT tomorrow? So NXT is tomorrow night. Who do you want to see show up?
AJ Styles.
Seth.
The OC in its entirety. Jonathan, obligatory It's My Birthday super chat
the OC,
for the boys.
Because I want to see them interact with Finn.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Exactly.
Sorry, Ryan.
Happy birthday, Jonathan.
Happy birthday, Jonathan.
Nick C says that Keith Lee dive, chef's kiss, basket is glory.
Basket
Truly is limitless. Jose Alaguna says, please stream 2K20 story mode. It's the worst best. We did a little bit.
It's really bad.
It's pretty not good.
It's pretty gnarly.
It's pretty not good.
We got to do some more of that. Then maybe next week we'll do that for Patreon.
There we go. Ron, go ahead.
Jimmy Thomas, King and Morrow were like that on SmackDown when he would ask King to speak on his experience.
That's right.
I remember that. I remember that. It was terrific.
That's right. It was good. Ron Armenta, do you think creative is going to improve now that they've seen the numbers for SmackDown's ratings?
If Raw was any indication last night, they just have a really good thing on their hands with the Invasion. So the Invasion alone is going to be decent, but I'm not really sure if it's going to maintain that after Survivor Series.
I feel like the expectation is that at some point they're going to drop the ball in all this. So I feel
wow.
Because I've seen several people comment on it. It's like, oh, this Invasion angle is great until they mess it up. So I think it's gonna be a situation where if they show the most basic amount of competence in telling the story, it's gonna be viewed as excellence.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Keith Roberts, is Orton the most over guy on Raw? Big pops lately.
People love Orton.
People love a good RKO.
Because Orton, here's the thing about Orton right now. He sort of crossed the line into doesn't care so much that he's really into it. It's like he's been given, because of who he is, what his name is, and his contract is coming up apparently sometime in 2020, like summer of 2020 or spring or something like that. He cares so little because he's got all the leverage that he's having fun, and we have fun.
When he has
what did he yell the other day? He yelled last week, I'm a heel, and you guys love every second of it.
Yeah.
Come on. That's great.
Go ahead.
Alex Foster, if you guys got attacked backstage like Roman did, what wrestlers would you accuse of doing it? I mean, line them up. We would not be very well liked backstage. We're soft. We think that we're smart, but we're dullards.
Yeah, we feel like we're entitled to top positions, even though we're completely inept. Yeah, we would be the bane of everybody's existence in that locker room. Sammy Garcia, quick story. I was at the gym on Friday, and they were playing SmackDown during the Lesnar Crown Jewel recap, and everyone was laughing at the match, and someone said out loud, "This is garbage."
What gym do you go to? Man, I've got all sorts of stuff. One of the most awkward times, and I don't know why I felt so awkward because nobody else in the gym really seemed to be paying attention, but there was some show there or some movie they were airing on TNT where there was as explicit a sex scene as you can get for like cable TV. And I was like sitting there, I was like, is anybody else like paying attention to the fact that this is on the TV right now? It's like somebody turn on like, Pornhub Lite on the freaking TV at the gym.
Wow.
Nobody's really paying attention to it though.
Wow.
Maybe just me.
People too into their workouts, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's much like old people at my gym, man. Let's see here. Ryan Armstrong. If NXT just tailgated in the parking lot, who would bring what to the party?
Oh, good question.
What would Ciampa bring to a tailgate party?
Well, it's crutch.
Well, yeah. But stuff for other
Weights.
people. Weights? It's not really a party thing, though, man.
I think that's how.
Would he bring alcohol?
I think that's how Ciampa in kayfabe would party.
He'd bring like a water cooler jug of water.
I think
he would just bring that and put it down. It's like, are we supposed to like puncture the top of it? Or like, did you bring cups?
Roughage. That's what he's bringing.
Roughage. Okay.
Kale.
Yeah.
Leafy greens.
Let's see here. Carlos Villalba. What are the odds WWE pulling the trigger on one last Rey Mysterio title run? We also have on the community tab, we have a question thread as well.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
The odds of WWE pulling the trigger on one final.
I wouldn't be surprised if the storyline was right. I don't feel like this is the instance in which it's going to happen, though.
I think this is he's doing such a good job with a very high-profile feud. However, that being said, probably not going to happen. I'm going to say not going to happen.
The villain Alan Black, even though the Seth and Adam Cole match was good, I think it would have been better if it didn't end in a wonky finish and have Adam Cole go over clean. Yeah, it'd always be better if Adam Cole goes over clean, but...
Well, you got this. They're going to fight a Survivor Series.
Yeah, they probably will.
And you got to get the Undisputed. You got the Undisputed Era do that all the time. So
yeah, Minion TM69. How many crappy Saudi shows before WB calls it quits because they all suck, and not just because where they are held. They're just solidified. They're gonna keep doing more. So
yeah, so they're gonna
8 more years of
they don't think
Saudi
they're
shows.
crappy because they're getting just tons of money,
obscene amounts of
money, and that's what you want to do in wrestling. Let's see here. James Rodriguez, do you think we'll see a main roster star defect to NXT during this build-up, or will that be shades of the WCW, ECW invasion angle? I would not like to see Seth. I would like to see Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. I think Kevin Owens would be the kind of thing. Like, if you think about it, let's say they want to try to pop ratings for, for NXT.
Yeah.
They have Seth win at Survivor Series, and then he shows up at NXT. At that point, doesn't it just feel like they're main rostering up NXT? Yeah. I mean, they are.
Too much.
Too much. They already have Finn over there, but that kind of works because it's a different Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Seth being there, I'm not into it. Kevin Owens, I would definitely be into.
Yeah, I'd be into that too. Kelvin Smith, who do you guys think are going to be the teams and the captain for a triple threat traditional Survivor Series match between the brands? So let's do.
I mean, I suppose 15 people. I guess that's not out of the question.
No,
it's not out of the question.
No, it's not out of the question at all. So
you've already mentioned Team NXT. You got Riddle, you got Keith Lee, Dijakovic, Damian Priest, and Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
All right,
that's your team.
That's your team.
Matt Riddle could be captain.
Yeah. And then Raw, you'd have the OC.
Well, AJ might be in a match with Roderick Strong and Nakamura if they do
maybe
a mid-card triple threat.
Be. You know, that's a match that could just kill it.
I know.
That match could be
like
just
any of them,
killer.
Any of them good.
Yeah.
Or let's say this. Let's say instead of doing Ciampa Reigns 1-on-1, Ciampa's captain of Team NXT.
Okay.
And then you have Reigns captain Team SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And then who'd be captain Team Raw?
Wouldn't that be AJ Styles?
It would be, but I think he's unless he drops the U.S. title.
The fact that they haven't announced it yet, the mid-card title match, I don't know. They're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Let's see. AJ's on Raw, Shinsuke's on SmackDown. So you'd probably put Shinsuke as Shinsuke and Sami Zayn, anyways, as like the brain trust of Team SmackDown, and then the OC lead up Team Raw. Maybe.
In the next case, you can have Roddy on Team NXT then.
Yeah.
Sammy Garcia, I go to a Fit Republic gym, and to add icing on the cake, I had my bright orange John Cena shirt, and that same dude looks over at me.
Wow. That's a really loud shirt to wear to a gym.
It is.
But to each their own, Sammy Garcia. I mean, I'm assuming we all learned a lesson from that one, Sammy. Your gym is anti-pro wrestling. People were laughing at it. People were mocking the TV, what they saw on the TV. What
Well,
the heck?
it was a terrible match. Kenny T in kayfabe, why didn't USA Network draft Brock first overall anyways? Because they won. They could have drafted Brock. Instead, they could. I mean, I think Becky Lynch is the wise choice because she's there every week as opposed to Brock. He's not.
Yeah, no, I think that Becky is the most reliable, most marketable star they have.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, AP1.
Let's see here. Rich, the Smash Bro. Let's see here. As of now, which brand is likely to stand tall at Survivor Series?
It'll probably be pretty even.
I think it's probably going to be even. He says, will it be NXT so it seems more powerful over AEW? I don't know. I'm not going to say that it doesn't. I would be very surprised if the point of Survivor Series was exclusively to
Make NXT look
boost NXT in the ratings.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I think they care about that, but I don't think they care about it that much.
Yeah.
I think them having a strong showing is good enough.
Yeah.
I think it's just to generate a lot of buzz for the company and to get ratings in general. Yeah, I think it'll probably be pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you don't have Brock. You don't have Brock doing anything except for beating Ray.
Yeah.
You got probably Seth versus Adam Cole. I mean, that's a tough one right there, isn't it? Because like you can't have another wonk finish.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
what if they do this? What if they have that match? Kevin Owens make sure Adam Cole wins.
Why would you even say that? Now it's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen.
Although, dude, honestly, a lot of stuff that we've talked about has kind of happened.
I know.
Like, how long have we been talking about putting 205 at Full Sail? Makes all the sense in the world. Forever and ever.
Since
And
like
they say it's going to be live Friday night from Full Sail?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Finally doing something right they are over there.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see here. AP1 with a super chat. Thank you very much. And Jose Alaguna. How much money to wear a Cena shirt at a serious event? What's like a serious event? Like a wedding or a funeral?
Yeah, I guess like a wedding.
Like your kid's graduation from high school?
It would depend on the Cena shirt.
Would it?
Yeah, because some of them are really hideous.
Like, are there any that aren't?
Like his AWA logo kind of.
Okay, let's take.
That one's cool. The Nintendo cartridge one's cool.
Okay, so regardless of subjectively how we feel about the shirts, they're all gaudy.
Yeah, some more so than others.
He has a couple that are black. Let's take those out of the equation.
Oh, so the bright colored ones?
Yeah,
the
the
orange
bright
ones,
that's what we're talking about
The Volt
here.
colored one, the
There's
blue
like
one.
a purple one. There's a blue one. There's a Volt one. Volt is probably like the loudest.
Yeah.
So
the
that
orange one was pretty loud too.
The orange and Volt one, yeah. So let's say it's the Volt one. What's the line? I think like, your elementary school graduation, which they do these days.
Totally fine.
That's good. High school graduation, you can't do that. Not if it's your kid. No, man. Nah, man. You got to wear an Untuck It shirt.
I'd feel better wearing a Cena shirt at my kid's high school graduation as opposed to a wedding or a funeral.
That I will agree with. However, I do think that...
Because in that case, while it's a very important day for my child, I'm still dad, I'm still boss. So...
well, I don't know, man. At that point, like legally, depending on when your kid was born,
if they're still living under my roof.
I guess so.
Sammy Garcia, funny thing is when I first went to that gym, I took a Bullet Club shirt and got a bunch of compliments on the shirt. Maybe it's just an anti-WWE gym.
No, I think Bullet Club just looks cool.
Yeah,
and honestly, if WWE had merch that looked cool, you'd get compliments all over the place. But none of their stuff looks cool.
No, it's a huge
It
problem.
all looks like garbage.
Huge problem.
Anyways, on that, we got an overrun coming up, a
Yeah.
bonus episode coming up for, I know, and then Shotzi and Scarlett Bordeaux at the PC.
Performance
There's like
Center.
all sorts of news going on.
I know, man.
My goodness
They're
gracious.
signing too many people.
We gotta do like a news brief later or something. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Bonus episode coming up for $5 patrons. YouTube channel members, we're gonna have a hot take on something.
No, we're gonna talk Seth Rollins.
We're gonna talk Seth Rollins some more.
His rah-rah speech.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
Him firing off at Meltzer.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Seth Rollins versus Dave Meltzer at Survivor Series.
There you go.
Confirmed.
There we go.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.